You look down at your phone, staring at a toxic comment you left in the middle of a viral online pylon, when a deeply unsettling question quietly slips into your mind. Who was that person? We like to believe our moral character is an unshakable, permanent anchor, yet modern psychology and evolutionary biology point towards something far stranger, a reality best understood by looking at the quiet desert scrublands where the solitary locust lives. For years, this insect goes out of its way to avoid others, blending seamlessly into its surroundings, perfectly camouflaged in green, feeding peacefully as an isolated individual, until the sudden rains arrive. A population explosion forces these creatures into packed, frantic spaces, and what happens next is nothing short of extraordinary. The relentless physical contact triggers a surge of serotonin, transforming their calm green bodies into a striking yellow and black, expanding their brains by nearly 30%, and turning solitary insects into a single, aggressive, hyper-synchronized swarm. And that's where this story takes an unexpected turn. It raises a question that's difficult to ignore. Could an evolutionary echo of this very biological mechanism still exist somewhere deep inside us? Because whenever humans are compressed into endless digital feeds or tightly packed stadiums, something eerily familiar begins to unfold. The change rarely feels like a conscious choice. Instead, the boundaries that separate one individual from another begin to dissolve as a shared electric urgency ripples through the crowd, quietly eroding personal accountability until thousands of people find themselves cheering, raging, or destroying in perfect unison. Psychologists call this deindividuation, a psychological state in which the brain's self-monitoring systems within the prefrontal cortex become significantly quieter, allowing the sheer density of the crowd to override the values that normally guide individual behavior. Of course, human psychology is infinitely more nuanced than an insect's nervous system, and we are far from being controlled by a simple chemical switch. But it would be a mistake to ignore just how profoundly proximity can reshape the boundaries of what the conscious mind quietly accepts as safe, acceptable, or even justified. And that leads to a deeply unsettling realization, one that has the power to completely change the way we think about ourselves. We spend decades searching for our true self, convinced it's a permanent foundation buried somewhere deep within us. But what if that assumption is wrong? What if identity isn't a fixed structure at all? What if the calm, rational person we believe ourselves to be is simply a temporary version of ourselves, one that only exists when there's enough physical or digital space to think clearly? The disturbing possibility is that the swarm isn't merely an error or a moral failure. It may be a dormant evolutionary setting, quietly waiting for the room to fill. So when the digital noise finally quiets, the stadium empties, and the crowd disperses into the night, the heavy collective rhythm begins to lift, leaving us entirely alone in the sudden, piercing silence of our own bedroom. We're individuals once more, left to sort through the wreckage of choices made by a version of ourselves that only seems to awaken when thousands are watching. Ultimately, we're left with a lingering, almost beautiful sense of curiosity about the boundaries of human nature, and the quiet realization that the person we believe ourselves to be is simply the space where the crowd hasn't yet arrived.